goody? We're back with another episode of Crazy,
Sexy,
Cool. Because our space is all about love.
and empowerment.
Amen.
And safety.
And love.
So, I was thinking, the feedback that we're getting and the engagement that we're getting from the community has been very, very humbling and appreciate. We appreciate it.
God.
You don't understand how we talk to each other and we like, and the bond that has forged even more between us. Like, it's
So
like
it's crazy.
Yeah,
You bitch. Don't
We down.
talk about the barbs with this one.
Ooh, please don't bring that back up. It's a touchy feel. It's a touchy
I
subject.
don't play with two people. I don't play with, Nikki's my sister and Beyonce's like my fairy godmother.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so we won't ever get on those topics.
No,
We love
I'll be dragging it
everybody.
sometime. I'm the type of person that is like, I don't sometimes I see red when I I see red. So I like to just stay away from things because it's just not for me. It's not my type of conversation I want to be a part of sometimes. But yeah, we're moving like
And you're healing and growing.
Of course, I'm still here, right?
Oh.
Well,
Ain't nobody brush you in your hair yet.
No, but one thing I will definitely say, I just love being on this couch with you ladies. Like, it's just always a good time. Every time I think about coming on set, I get so excited because I feel like I'm doing something amazing, and just seeing the comments that we're getting with so many people just engaging, being inspired, also feeling heard a little bit. It's kind of like,
Invisible.
those people are
crazy
feeling heard.
Because I went to the HMI Words Ball,
Mm-hmm.
and so many of the youth, and I got a couple of people actually saying that we're gonna release that if we all agree on it.
Yeah.
And they were saying how they watched the show and that it is refreshing and
Mm-hmm.
different and sexy and all those things. And I was like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
And to know that that's why, like I said, it's important that we're intergenerational, we're all inclusive in this role, so therefore we can reach the audience and make everyone feel included.
it's everywhere.
Even
it's
our
definitely
youth are loving this.
Well, I'm still young, so.
I think it's such a wide range. Like, it's like I can't have a conversation no more with even my friends without the podcast coming up. Everybody wants to talk about the podcast. I love it. We love the feedback. We love the comments. It's been so much
'em
positivity. Keep them coming.
Also, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and you see that little bell on the side over there? Click that so you'll be notified that when our episodes drop every Wednesday at 12 p.m. So when that notification go off, you can live view it and leave your comments there. We will be answering all your questions. We can't get to them all, but we're going to do our best. So, ladies, she asked me how was my weekend. How was yours?
It was cool. I just
Yeah.
I forgot. No, I was just chilling. Oh, I chilled with some friends. I had some friends. I went out to eat with my brother. He took me out to eat. It's restaurant week in New York.
Really?
Yes, you didn't know that? I always get a piece of that. I get a piece of the restaurant week.
Is it still going on today?
Look.
Yeah, it still is going on. I think it goes on to
gotta
February
go?
4th.
Yes.
It goes on to February. Yeah, you got to get out there and get a piece of restaurants, baby. We had lobster.
Is it like they give discounts or something?
Yeah, it's like it's like a prefix meal or whatever, where you get like 3 different, meals. You get like your dessert, you get your appetizer, you get your basic meal, and it's all for one set price. And you can try like a 5 restaurants that usually cost a whole lot of money.
What's some
Y'all
of your
never did
favorite
restaurant
restaurants?
week?
I never even heard of that.
To be
real?
honest,
No.
I've never heard of it, but if I had to pick, I would pick the restaurant that we always go eat at. I forget the name. We always have a great time there.
She's talking about
Remember the celebrity was coming in, they was like over there trying to get
Oh,
you.
she's
The
talking
Chop
about
House. The
Chop
Brooklyn-
House,
the
the
Brooklyn
Brooklyn
Chop House.
I love that.
I like
The
the
Chop House
vibe.
is cute, but I mean, we do that. So I like to go places that I
What
wouldn't.
do y'all feeling like?
I know I love the Chop House, but I like to go places that I wouldn't normally go to. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, and I've been there, like, you know, a few
So
times.
then, what is one place that you would go to?
I just said places that I don't normally go to, so
So
I
have you
find a
tried
new one.
Thai?
No, I eat Thai all the time.
So
I'm
do
a
you-
foodie.
So what do y'all? Obviously.
I'm a foodie. I mean, as long as it falls in the realms of pescatarian, and depending on the week, I'm vegetarian. So, like, as long as falls in between those, then I like, you know,
Love it.
places.
I used to be into I ain't going to restaurants, but I've been so like into work heavy in school, that freaking school. But yeah, it's time. Like I want to go back out and just get out there and like vibe in New York. Like I was outside the other day, yesterday, and it was just like I felt like the New York energy again. And I was like, bitch, man, and that's why they was outside. But the food, the restaurants was scaring me, and that's why. Like I didn't notice.
So the rest of
Yeah.
them brought the people in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was distracted because I heard someone talking in the background.
Shout out to the background crew.
Shout out to the background
Background crew.
Speaking of Kay, she did my face.
Yes.
Hey,
Spike K, K
Beats by
makeup.
K.
And these things over here
legendary.
were laid down by Charmaine.
Yes.
So we have.
And oh yeah, shout out to my girl Jalissa. She gets my hair right.
So ladies, y'all feel like a toast?
Yes.
Yes, definitely. You know, we need to get that little toast on.
Who's toasting us today?
What do we have here? Uh-oh, Daye.
So this is the legendary. Which one is
Day,
mine?
we got Daye. We got Daye in the building. We have the makeup artist guru baby, and
The
also
legendary.
legendary. Also, Daye is a butch queen face of the ballroom
Get into that
scene.
vibe. Get into that vibe, face.
I got a couple of gifts for
Yeah.
you ladies today.
Oh, we got gifts again.
Oh.
And he brought pink.
But gifts,
I
I love
for
tea.
toast.
I love pink too.
Toasted. This is why we toasting.
Yes.
This is just
Yes.
beautiful.
We toasted to another
Thank you,
wonderful
Faith.
episode.
Oh.
Thank you. Oh my God, we got gifts.
Thank you, love.
Yes.
That
Sit
is
down
so
here,
sweet.
Faith.
Thank you.
Let's toast. We're toasting to beautiful love energy.
Another wonderful episode. Just this podcast going further and further and further. But what's going on, Daye? How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good. We haven't seen you on the ballroom floor in a long time. Are we gonna see you anytime this year? Are you coming back or you through with it?
I'm not through with it. I just need some time. I've just been sitting back and watching.
Okay.
Just kind of like soaking everything up. That's all.
Okay, that's what's up. How's the makeup going?
Amazing, actually. Really, really good. I just put together my home studio a couple of months ago. So shouts out to that. And I've just been working on television a lot. I leave next month for a month and a half working on a TV show in Texas. So
Okay, work. I ain't saying
Can we
that
get
shit
any tea
yet.
on who? Who faces are you touching?
I'm working with Food Network, so it's a barbecue show where it's 3 different hosts and they have teams all over the world. They put together and they kind of like just battle it out, making certain dishes. But I do one of the hosts. Her name is Sunny Anderson. She's really big in the food industry.
Okay. Is this you want to shout out to the people how they can get in contact with you if they want their makeup done or something?
Oh yes, you can follow me on I Am the Day Experience on Instagram. On Facebook, it's Daye Pascal, and just slide in my DMs.
Yes,
Daye
slide
is
in.
like really like everybody.
Yes, you look.
goes
Oh,
today.
I love this green.
Okay, you came through.
Come on.
What?
Yes.
You came through
He
cancer.
came correctly.
Yeah.
He came correctly. I love this, babe. He got the red bottom. Okay. I'm loving
But
it.
thank you so much. We want you to stick around because when we play the game later, we're gonna need you to bring us some shots.
Make sure y'all follow him. That is just so dope to me, y'all. How we that's what I came into the ballroom scene, into the community in general, seeing so many of our people that we literally hang around. They are the people in the background of these TV shows, these concerts that are getting put on. They are the people that are making these individuals amazing.
Absolutely.
Yes, we definitely have a strong influence on pop culture and today. So,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Ballroom.
This is what I want to see.
This is what I want to see. they used to, they didn't tell it before, but now they can't hide it because there's so many of us that's out there now, that's crossed over and transcended to other avenues. So they see it now. Ballroom is out there, so now you can see where a lot of it came from.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, we have some topics today.
Oh, wait. Come on, sisters, y'all. Appreciation to our girls.
Right.
Appreciation, my
We
bad.
definitely have to do that. So, every episode we want to lift up femme queens and women in our lives who influenced us or kind of gave us a space. So this one is called Femme Queen Appreciation Moment.
Yes.
So who are some femme queens that influenced you earlier on?
Well, I'm a different type of say. I'm very picky on what, not say, I'm talking about as far as beauty, y'all. And when I came into the scene, it was just so many beautiful femme queens, just electrifying, just energy. And they would just be standing there. And seeing people like Ajane, Octavia, Sanaya, the legendary Mercedes, seeing these women for me really was like, oh my gosh, like, it was just this confidence that they had that kind of just inspired me to just stand out loud and just be who I am no matter what. And yeah, those are my girls.
That's crazy. Yeah, because I think about like, I'm a different type of girl. So.
We all are. I'm not, you know what I always
No,
say.
I'm saying that.
Did y'all
I'm
talk about this moment, or you just came up with that because because I thought you was doing the other thing? But I love this.
Fix your breasts, sister.
Oh no, that's the femme queen in me. I'm sorry. So, yeah, no, we just thought it like we would pay homage to the femme queen.
I think that's
so. And for me, it was like Letitia Revlon, Queen Mother. It was Keisha Revlon. The realness set. That's what I always kind of gravitated to, was like around that type of set. And then, of course, like Danielle Revlon was like a great influence, at that time. So it was like so much different to see how they walk in the room. And back then, everybody wanted to be a Revlon. So it was like, it was a part of a major movement.
Really? R.E.V.
Stop doing that.
I would never. What? I love Tony. I love Letitia. I know the girls. Revlon is a fab house.
Yes.
Definitely.
It is.
Yes. For me, I mean, there were so many girls. I wouldn't want to leave anybody out, but who I was able to experience directly, I would have to say like Carrie. Carrie was my gay mother, so definitely her. Cheyenne, Cheyenne was the overall mother of the House of Allure when I was in Allure, and me and Cheyenne was really cool. So I loved, Cheyenne. I remember sitting down. I remember being in Cheyenne's house, and Naya Milan came down, and she blew me away. It was like, that's the type of girl. Like, she had no makeup on. She had her real hair. She was like, I just came from school. My son is upstairs. And I was like, wow, that's one of the girls. Yeah. So like, a lot of girls. I remember going to a ball and Danielle did go. Come on, Danielle. I was like, it was her and Raquel. Her and Raquel had battle. I love Raquel too. Raquel used to really bring a whole sickening package. I lived in Atlanta. And her and Danielle was battling when I came up here. It was in Jersey. And Danielle had on this catsuit. The waistline was like this. Like, there was like no waistline. This body was sickening. And she was so in character that I was by the stage. She was on her knee and she was walking sex siren. And you heard her like... She was like purring, like, and I was like, I want to captivate a room like that, like, you know what I'm saying? So those are some of the people.
I want to say something on something touched me that you said. The people that just like the rawness of it. Girls that you saw, like, it just touched you from the door. I went straight into Ballroom and I was talking about like the girls in Ballroom, but it's a lot of girls, like the people like Ayana Milan, Courtney, Erica, Kalisha. It was girls that I've seen on an everyday basis, and I was just I was blown away immediately. Coming from Long Island, I didn't see a lot of girls. I didn't see no trans women. And what they described to what we were supposed to look like on TV, it was something totally different.
Absolutely.
And it was so beautiful to see people. Like, I mean, I seen each girl, it was their moment. It was like every time I met a girl, it was always like, wow. Like the way she walked in a room, it was like, bitch, I'm here.
Shout out to my little sisters, Coco and Dee Dee, because those were the first girls that they were bandy,
Well,
they were
she's
young.
still naming some names. I'm going to go ahead and say Evie Milan, like those girls.
Shanice.
Shanice, yes.
Even Stephanie Milan.
Stephanie. Dominique Jackson and them girl, like.
I used to party. She used to go to parties.
I used to see her at the strip. I saw her at the strip club. That's how I first met Stephanie. And I met Alana Starr. I met some of the beautiful girls.
Portia.
Portia was all done.
Okay.
That was my teacher. You know that was my teacher.
Your teacher?
My teacher. She was my teacher in school.
Wow.
Really?
Portia. Yes.
Oh, word.
Yeah, she was me, Katrina, the legendary Katrina. She was our teacher in school.
Oh, wow.
Well.
See?
We love the girls.
We love all the girls.
Yeah, shout out to all the girls. Like, all of them amazing. It's just so many, like, amazing girls. We even have a photographer, Eve Harlow.
Yes.
She's in here, and she's like, just hearing her stories, she touched me. It's just, we have so many girls in all places.
And that's the thing. We're like Barbies, for real. Like, we have each different type. You have this.
Oh, she likes Barbie now. She likes the
you
movie.
Have sexy.
Okay. Oh, she watched
Corporate
it.
femme queen.
Okay. Cute.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'm excited because we have a fabulous guest coming on as well. We will let you guys know who that is later, but we got a guest.
One of the ones.
One of the
ones, baby.
Yes.
And a guru extraordinaire, all those things.
Yes. He runs New York.
Okay, who's in charge of the girls and the boys? So, did you want to go?
Yeah, we have one viewer's question. Y'all want to answer it now?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right. What advice would you give to someone entering ballroom?
Enjoy it. Respect the space. Look at it as something that you're learning from. Give people patience and grace. And enjoy yourself. And put your best foot forward. Really take your time. Don't rush into houses. Yeah. And go with an open heart.
I would say stay true to yourself, but respect the culture. I would say definitely do your research. I would say don't allow it to, it should be extracurricular activity for you, something fun. Don't allow it to validate you, but go and compete and leave it on the floor.
Yeah.
And just know what you're getting into.
My advice, is like they said, enjoy yourself. Find your tribe. And take your time in finding your tribe. It's important, when we go from home to home, it's because we haven't found our tribe. Your ballroom is so large. And we need to understand the history and the culture. And you're going to get that as you travel to each village. And each village is each house. When we come to the floor, we represent so many different things. And that's the joy of ballroom, because it's the space where we can be celebrated, where we can be ourselves, where we can be the stars of our own culture. And we lift each other up that way. Now, there may be some other shit that happens, but we still rise to the top because we continue to push past so many systems that look to erase us, but our influence on the world is internationally recognized.
Baby.
Okay? So yeah, also, make sure you got some money. You got dues to pay.
You
got to pay for tables.
That's what's the extra.
Entry may be $50, $70. So just make sure you get a little money,
Make sure you
save
got a
your
job.
money, and strategize what bars you're going to go to before you be broke, like me.
Anyway, speaking of that, let's go ahead and go into these topics, because since we're on ballroom, I would just say one of the topics that, was how do you separate your personal and ballroom life. Like, and I remember for me to expound on that a little bit, I know when we talked about it prior, it was like the character as well. Like, how do you separate that character that some of us bring into ballroom versus outside of ballroom?
This one is a hard one for me because I've always felt I should do that. I always felt I should separate my personality from ballroom.
You should?
I should. Like, it was something that because I was always told around me that you should change your energy when you go into other places because it's too much for them. And for me, I'm not turning that off. It's me. Everything is me. You get all of me when you see me. And I'm going to represent myself in this way. And that's it. You can either accept me or you don't, but I'm going to be me. I enjoy being the personality that I'm in. And when I'm in ballroom, even in outside, I feel like I'm confident. I believe in myself. I'm pushing myself forward in ballroom. So why not do it outside? So I don't think you have to like change who you are. I just think you just got to know your space when it's respecting people's space.
I I agree, but I also like to add to that, like, it's a space and time for everything. And we really have to know how to, I don't think there is a separation. I just think we know where we fit, right? Like, when we're playing this movie out in front of our eyes and we know that we're going to this space, we know how to assimilate to that next stage, to that next space that we have to be at. So when you go into each space, you may change a little bit depending on the space that you at. I think we were talking a little bit about like the character or the femme queen, the over the top behavior and that character. I think that's what we were saying, like, when do you turn it off? But I think you don't have to. I think it's just who we are. We just know how to, acclimate to our environments because that's what we always been taught to do.
Well, so, I mean, for me, I definitely think that there's a time and place for everything. And as I'm older, like, things changes a little bit. But before, Tempress was completely an alter ego. Like, it was, when I stepped in ballroom, it's just the armor came on. So it was definitely a separation from Tempress and Chastity. So I still look at it that way, but since I've matured, when I started realizing that people was experiencing me, well, they was thinking that Tempress was who I was all the time. And I think it was missed opportunities a lot of times. I sat in places now where I can speak with people and they can be real to me and they'll be like, I never knew you was like this. And I'm like, what do you mean? And it was because, media would see me reading, you know what I'm saying? Like, I may have been put in a situation where I'm reading or I'm just being extra or I'm walking and I'm being competitive. And, so it's always a character. So sometimes they don't get to see that other person. So for me, it was definitely cut off after I leave out of ballroom. Now I do realize that there are some things that I can still carry, you know what I'm saying, when I take it into other spaces or whatever. But I just think that sometimes the extraness gets lost in translation and that we have to know when to shut it off.
And when to be safe, because it's not safe to be like that all the time in so many different spaces.
That's why it was like, for me, going outside was always an issue for me because I always felt like I was supposed to do that. I was supposed to be on pause on who I am, but it's just, like, I understand you gotta, respect people's space and of course, but I also feel like, why can't it be me? And why are you taking things that I'm doing here personally? And why are you using it against me to judge me when we never even had a conversation? It was so many people that I met in ballroom that told me they didn't like me and never even had a conversation with me. And I used to make it a me issue, like, oh, I have to stop, I have to walk on eggshells, let me be more nicer, let me do this. Like, I was pushing myself. That was not my issue to work on. That was theirs. So I started to, I agree with y'all both, but I also feel like sometimes, like, it's okay to be us even as we are, our raw self.
See, I seen someone who I knew outside of ballroom, and I remember watching their character, like, on video and stuff, and in ballroom, and being like, I do not like this person. But I knew that behind closed doors, our conversations was nothing like that. And that they was always like giving you a very caring nurturer, or whatever. And so like it made me reflect. Like I had to look at myself, like how are these people experiencing Tempress? And like you still to this day, I have to fight that like stereotype. Oh, bitch, you better be ready because she's gonna, you know what I'm saying? And it was because I was on guard because that's what I came up around. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then I just felt like that was my armor. And I feel like I don't have to do that now because I'm mature and I know I can check a person in a different type of way. Yeah. So for me, it was really completely like an alter ego. So it was different. It was just two different things.
Yeah. I don't know. Was it?
I'm good. Y'all looking for me to add. I'm saying I already said what I needed to say. I feel
pressure. She said on business. She's standing on business.
No, I know. I think it's important. Like I think I've already said. Like we all agree that you can still be yourself, but you get to adapt to whatever area you go to. Just because it's crazy, sexy, cool, I still have to be appropriate.
Her boobs are slipping.
I'm a married woman for the 5th time.
Show your ring 12 years for her 4th time. She said
how many times I said it?
4th
time. So do y'all feel the need to be accepted by society? That's another topic I know you ladies want to talk about.
It's not so much that I feel like I want to fit into society. I am a part of society. I just want to be safe in society. I want to be able to go to work and come home without fear that someone will kill or hurt me because of who I am. So I don't want to fit into society. I just want to be safe in society, and I want the opportunity to thrive just like everyone else who works for it and earns it.
Yeah. I feel like no one is safe outside for me. So it's like when you leave the house, I just try to look at it in a way of I want to be safe regardless. And fitting in, I don't really care to fit in with people because I'm walking in my space at all times. But I feel the need of being respected. It's not to be accepted. I don't care if you accept me or not. Like, you're not God. You're another human being who has issues. And, like, it's a lot of, no one's perfect. So just being me. And with respect.
I like that.
Yeah, that's what I feel like that too. Like, it's not really a need for acceptance. It's a need for respect. I just want to be humanized. Like, I'm human. I eat, bleed, shit, just the same thing like everybody else. And so I want the same laws. I want the same, I just want that respect. It's not, I don't want to have to feel like a fight on top of all the other fights that I have. Like, so just respect me. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that goes a long way.
Yeah.
Like, if you just accept people for who they are, like, why me being me hurts you so bad that it disrupts who you are?
What do you think that comes from?
Not understanding.
I feel like religion, especially like in the Black community, I feel like religion really... It starts that, like, like it's because it's like, you're taught like the self-hate, like, homosexuality is a sin. And it's like, they make that the biggest sin out of anything else. And then it's like, oh no, you're wrong, you're going to hell, or whatever. Versus like, you can be, I was talking to my brother and he was talking about being in jail and how the people in prison was able to talk to the molesters, like the rapists, the murderers and stuff. But when it came to like a trans or a gay person, they didn't want to have anything to say. Just like in the Black families, a lot of times, they don't have a problem with Uncle so-and-so who been in and out of jail or who murdered somebody or, this predator or whatever. But as soon as someone is gay or trans, it's like, oh, you committed the ultimate cardinal sin. Yeah. Like, I think that is just like ridiculous.
I think that comes with oppression. I think that comes deep rooted. I think it's a place of not understanding. I didn't see this in a book that I was told, so this is wrong for me. Everything else is okay. Like, they can deal with that because the people that oppress them were murderers, were killers, were rapers. So you didn't really get to see trans people or gay people. It was like it was shunned away. Like, it was something that they didn't ever get to see. So seeing something that I feel like you don't understand, it's like this automatically, this judgment, this hate. And it's like, I always wonder, like, why are you that upset about something that has nothing to do with you?
I think the colonizers did their big one.
I was going to
They
say,
did
their
take it
big
back to
one.
the colonizers.
Like
They tore it up. Like,
Yes.
I'm not,
separating
the
us
sep-
by
yes.
gender, race. Like, who said that? If
We be
God
worried about
said that
so
we were
much.
all created equal, why do I have to fight for equal rights?
you haven't noticed
Like, why do I have to fight for it? If we're all created equal, then why aren't we just like thriving and surviving
Yeah.
together? So the colonizers had a way of adapting this book that I follow. Let me be clear. I definitely love the Lord. But what I will say is that, and they started to teach us things and take us away from other practices that we felt higher connection to, spirit, But, I know that religion does play a big part of it.
I think that's why a lot of
and
us
I
are
also
spiritual
know
now.
that because, right, each
A lot of us
individuals
are
spiritual.
Like, when I say about religion,
And that's what I mean. Like,
I don't. When I talk about religion, because some people and I don't mean to cut you off, and I really want you to finish what you were saying.
Them comments go get you, girl.
Okay, bitch, I'm
Why
not
you didn't have
cutting her
time to
off. Like, sometimes when you speak about religion and you say that you don't subscribe to a religion, then they want to call you anti, like, you don't believe in God and blah, you're an atheist, and that is so far from the truth. I do have a higher power. I do believe that. I do believe in God. But I just believe that the book, like you said, has been written by man, and it just, I don't know. Like, I
But
can't get into
everyone is
that.
called to some spirituality, whether it be Islam, Christianity, Judaism, like just so many different religions out there, which divides us, right? But so does this book, as you're reading how, the sons of Abraham and all that, right? So for me, like, I do get what you're saying to bring it back. Like, it really does start with what we are taught growing up. Like, when you put a black kid and a white kid together, they're playing. Racism, hate, and violence are taught behaviors.
And why is one religion better than the next?
That answers the question. I think we kind of had that like conversation on so many different levels because that's the impact that it has on us, and we're still healing as a community.
I was like, it's just sometimes I wonder, like, are we healing? Are we just stuck in place? Like, sometimes
I don't know about you, babe, but I'm working on some
no,
things.
I'm
I can't be
definitely.
stuck.
I feel like self. I feel like
Yeah, as
I'm
a
talking about
community.
as for self. I know it's a bunch of black people that are healing and being the best version of themselves. But I'm talking about as a complete whole. We still don't come together and try to love on each other. We still don't give each other grace. Sometimes we judge those that are still going through that heartache that we just went through. It's like, who's going to be the person to be like, hey, I got you. The other person that was before you that had grab your hand and say, hey, baby, like, I understand things is hard right now, but you need to see the other side. I need you to be around. I feel like now, even in our black communities, those wealthy black men are leaving. Those
I feel
black
like this
men.
doesn't apply to me.
Yeah, I don't. They're talking about you too. You're still the last one in the room. You're still someone. No matter how you got there, no matter if it was from birth, they still look at you as lower than them.
I just think that we're so concerned about some of the wrong things. Like, there's so much that's happening to us, like, that we miss out. Like, if we came together, like, the best thing like I said, they ever did was separation by skin, even like slavery days, from, the light skin being in the house, like colorists. Like, we just focus on so many of the wrong things that I just feel like a lot of times we can't come together on stuff. And as the older I get, I'm so bothered by how we are held back. Like, we don't realize a lot of things that, like, it's almost like still being in chains.
Distraction.
sometimes. Yeah.
We're distracted. Even like today, I was arguing with a close friend of mine about someone that is like, someone that don't even know me. You know what I'm saying? And I think those be the issues. Like, you don't realize. I realized that later. Like, after the second, like, damn, I was really arguing. You know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody I don't even know, like, that is a problem. We are distracted by the things in front of us. Our phones, our shoes.
Yeah, we don't communicate, but
We
like
don't know how to
we don't
communicate
really
no more.
like actually have to sit down. And I think that's where you see a lot of, a lot of people can get frustrated so quickly because we're not doing like either like you said self-healing or learning how to communicate effectively, because we can have Twitter fingers, we can like say it and hang up the phone, like we have so many connections to ways that we don't have to deal with each other person to person. So now when we're walking, I don't like you because of this and you don't like me, and it's just like, for what? Like, why we all can't just band together? Because I do believe that we can get further together than we can divide it. But, you know, even though there are some of us that believe that trials and tribulations happen every day that will shake a person's faith. We see it every day, every day. So my thing is, it has to start with you. The healing has to begin with you. And you have to be able to navigate that safely. And some days you get it good, some days you don't. But give yourself grace, the same grace that you would ask to be given to others.
It's just so hard sometimes, though, because it seems like, I mean, not to give grace, because I do give myself grace, but when you see, like, the comments and stuff, it seems like the biggest issue for the Black community a lot of times is, like, gender and, like, you know, like, homosexuality and trans. That seems like to be their biggest issue for them. And sometimes I feel like a lot of people hate something that they see in you that they hate about themselves.
It's femininity.
And
it's the feminine energy that they don't like.
Because, and I don't know if sometimes they equate, like, I don't want to go into this topic because last time, like, it went kind of crazy.
So because I just feel
because I'm gonna say this, like, coming up in church, you know, a lot of times I came against a lot of pastors who were trying to, like, y'all make me so nervous to talk about topics because y'all start cringing.
Y'all start talking about the Bible.
No, I want you to get it out. I'm just laughing because Sexy over here was gonna get a little crazy with it. But let's keep it cool. Go ahead, keep talking. Sis.
No, it's like, so sometimes I wonder, do people, and I can't speak to this because I'm not, you know, do they equate pedophilia with homosexuality? Like, you know, I wonder, I feel like that's what happens because a lot of times so many people are sexually abused at a younger age and stuff. And I know coming up in church, I had a lot of pastors come on to me. Like, you know, and so I sometimes I feel like that people think that just because you're gay and because a man came onto you when you was younger, like men and stuff, that they are gay. And those people that are usually pedophiles usually subscribe to heterosexuality. You know, and so I don't know. I just be trying to figure out what is it that keeps heterosexual people so sternly against trans and homosexuals, that it stops us from moving further as a unit, as Black people.
I think it's because they hate seeing feminine stuff. Like, I think they even hate, men in general just destroy women too. Like, they destroy women on, like, it's like they make them feel like, I feel like I finally woke up like 2 years ago and I was seeing the world for really what it is. Even for things like seeing like how men are they destroyed women's ability to be themselves and just stand out and have a voice and just in general. And then I felt like they kind of like Black women, because a lot of times they are the ones that come at us.
Well, I think there were so many forces against them, like, you know, the slave owners, like, you know, beat them down and stuff. And so, and then also like a lot of the systems that kept the Black man out of the house and, you know, broke down the Black family. So I don't know, maybe that.
I just think when it comes to things like gender and masculine and femininity, and I think it all is like a construct of power. Like, who said men get to be in leadership? Who said they couldn't be women? And because the very idea that we can stand in both energy and be our authentic selves makes them afraid to be their selves, because they were taught in the construct, and we have shifted that construct. So when they see us, they see the power of the spirit that lives in us, that has the duality to be interchangeable, whatever we want to be. And that's the power and the liberation that we have in ourselves. Once you unlock that, you understand, and I repeat it, I am my own liberation. because I have the power and choice to make the decisions that I want to be me. Unapologetically, I don't have to be hyper masculine. I don't have to be super feminine. I can be a femme queen. I could be a trans woman. I could be a mom, a wife. And I've been a daddy to some kids who didn't have that. You understand? I'm trying to tell you, that's what it is. Because sometimes if you get a little aggressive, they're like, oh my God. I get aggressive around y'all. Y'all like, oh God, y'all not even acting like a woman.
Yes, like you have been telling you.
I never said no shit like
who
that.
says no?
Don't
I'm
put
just
that-
saying people have said that. Let's not act like you haven't said
They
that.
definitely said that, but I
know,
even in our
the
community,
minute
they
that-
tell us all the
yeah.
time.
So if
like,
you
you're
get a
not-
little aggressive, they're like, oh, you acting like a man.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Right.
what?
So that's what you think I am.
But who teaches us these things again? It's because we have the power within us to be whatever we want to be. And that's how we're supposed to be.
They don't like that.
We have the power of creation. But yet we want people to limit who we are based on the constructs that they were taught. So again, like it's more of a larger picture that as a community, I think we need to address those things so we can come together. What type of conversations would we have, and what would that look like to mend us together as a Black community?
Yes, because
Oh,
I am
sister
Black
talking to the
first.
ass.
Like,
Come on,
you
say
know,
it.
like, and it gets hard that you're trying to fight for a community that doesn't fight for you.
Girl, please don't even do that, because I've been fighting for trans people since I started this in 2013, 14. And sometimes the very same harm comes from the same people that you are trying to help. So we can't just make it a specific people, because some of the violence that happen in our communities are perpetuated by people who look, sound, and move just like us.
Yeah, but so that
So
sounds
again,
like that
that's
Black
why-
on Black crime stuff.
But this is what I'm saying. But
And
but here's
I
the
feel
thing. I'm
like
not saying
there's
it's
white
black
on white
black.
crime too. And if you're in the same community, that's gonna happen. Not to
I
negate
wasn't
that there's
keeping
crime.
this. I'm not keeping it specific to our community. I'm just.
But you
talking
said like
about,
trans, like you basically you said that
Yeah,
trans, you're helping
to
trans.
our
and trans
community. But here's the thing. How many people have you told yes to?
about what?
Just like they ask you for something, you say yes,
A lot.
right? Have you ever met someone when you said no, they went ballistic on you,
All the time.
right?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing, right? When you're coming and you're looking for something, and I say, I can't give you that, you're going to erase everything else I've done for you. Everything else I've done for you. And hold on to this one thing that I said no to. Oh, your agency doesn't do what I want you to do. Or you don't have this for me. And I'm trying to say, I don't have it, but you can go over there. But you're still not looking at the fact that you are responsible for the things and the services that you need to receive, because you have the power of choice and what services you need. Every agency will not house everything under one agency.
Yeah.
And what happens is we get into these systems of division that continuously divide us. So as some of us are fighting, and my thing to always say, not everybody could be in the street. Some of us got to be in the courtrooms. Some of us got to be in the state. Some of us have to be in the city. Some of us have to run our own agency so we could take care of our own. But sometimes the very same people that you are trying to heal are harming you. So again, this is not specific to just any specific. I'm talking because it's trans, and these things have happened to me in my experience, that sometimes it's like, I don't even want to do this no more.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but I
and
was
then there's this defeated thing, but thank God for the people that surround me, like y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like Erica, like Dominique, like my husband, my father Sean, Cecilia, Lala, Devin, like so many people pour into me. And that's what we need to do for each other as a community. We need to really be there for those.
Yeah, we do.
Because we can still
It's
come
great.
under attack. So when we
Yeah,
talk about
absolutely. That's still us
separatism,
fighting for
it happens
us, but I'm talking about the Black community fighting for us as
They
well.
won't, because we're still fighting each other.
Girl, you cannot say. I can't believe you're
I feel like
saying
it
happened.
That
I feel
is
like-
not the reason, though.
I don't.
That's
listen,
the same way white people say, "Oh, they're not fighting for us because we're fighting each other." Does that mean that we're not supposed to be equal to everybody else?
No,
does that
I'm not
mean
saying
that.
that.
Does that not mean that we're supposed to have the same freedoms and the same laws as everybody else? Like, why do we have to be different? Because we have those problems with each
So
other.
you're talking about a
Everybody
larger
has problems.
conversation, so I
Fucking today.
parenthetically digress. You're right. We are always on the front line for them.
Yes, that's
And they're
what
never
I'm
on the
saying.
front lines for us.
Absolutely.
So, with that being said, what type of conversation, like I said in the beginning, will we begin to have to address that?
Just like I was saying just now. Why don't y'all fight for us? No, I'm just kidding.
Protect the femme queens. Protect black trans women.
I think you gotta work on yourself. You should, like you had said earlier, work on yourself. Like honestly, I'm talking about everyone.
Here she goes.
Honestly,
You just what?
Nothing.
say it. Speak.
Come on.
Speak.
Y'all, I guess.
What? I think you have
you're
to work
okay,
on
man.
yourself. I think we need to focus on us.
Yeah, but if
and our
everybody is just
community.
always just individual, I'm just gonna do me. I'm just gonna work on myself. Then, like, how do we
because you
come
have to get
together?
yourself
I mean, you
together. You
should
have to get
definitely
yourself
fix yourself. But
together.
y'all are just taking it. Okay, let's just go to another topic. Or something.
No, but I'm just saying, no, you're right. I understand. Why does it have to be so individualism? But my thing is, again, in order to bridge that, there needs to be something like we really like. It's a hard thing to do at times, and I'm talking about in our personal experience. Sometimes we have to fight our own selves to do the things that we know we need to do.
Right.
And now we still got to manage your stuff and this stuff and my shit too. Like,
But I
this is
think
why I'm
that's the
saying this
fight.
is where grace has to come in.
But I think
And now
that's
we're
the fight.
supposed to fight and be on the front lines for everybody else while we're still fighting the shit that we have to fight for. And y'all won't even do anything for us.
Exactly.
Anything.
Thank
So
you.
I get what you're saying.
Thank you. You get it too?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I get it.
Um,
I'm gonna I definitely get it, but for me, I feel like I just feel how I feel. Like I feel how I feel when. It
how
comes
do you
to
feel,
certain things.
Asia?
I just feel differently. I just think we need to work on ourselves individually because we've been
Absolutely.
through so much individually. Like so much has put us in a place of I'm gonna hurt you because you hurt me. We have to be graceful enough for us to get there. We have to let that oppression go. We have to heal from our trauma,
We are stronger in numbers.
and then we come together. We come together once we get our shit together. But how can we really get out there when immediately we're going to be worried about who's going to be the boss in this if we need to get it together. We're going to worried about who's going to run it. Who's going to be the front. Who's going to be the one on the cover. We're not worried about who should be there if we need that.
So you think we're more concerned with superficial things?
A lot of them, we're so jailed mentally that we need to focus on us. Like I literally had to take myself out of so many situations is because I always learned to take accountability for the shit that I was doing. That's the only person that I'm responsible for when it comes to the things that's going to happen to me.
So there's so many different caveats to this, and
It
we
is.
can't get it all in just
We don't have a
one
like. What
conversation.
happened to the leaders? Like, you know,
Oh, girl.
They
like
got them out
you know,
of here.
it's been like the leaders that they have now. They leave
They
us
got them
out.
out of
Like
here.
I feel like, you know, they always have something. You know, you'll be following somebody and you'll be there with them. Yes, we're black, we're proud, we're doing such and such and such, and then they say something like, but homosexuality is so like they'll say something like, you're like, bitch, I was with you, like, and then you had to go tear, like, why? Just leave that alone.
That's
Let people
hate.
be
That's
them.
something that they gotta heal. That's hate. They don't understand something, so they disagree with it. You're literally bashing someone and then asking other people to stop doing this to you, but you're doing this to someone else.
Exactly.
It's like
Oppression.
you don't even stop what
So
you're
it's
doing.
Everybody gotta
it's
oppress somebody.
oppression on top of oppression, and these system of oppressions are the systems that we need to dismantle. And the only way you get to dismantle that is by figuring out how to do that, and that starts with self. And each one teach one. Because if I get the key, I'm gonna teach you the key, and you're gonna teach the next one, and we're gonna go inside Master House, and we're gonna whoop his ass together. And that's
Well, I
what
think we can go on and on about this topic.
This can go on all day.
Yes. So I
Ooh,
think
did we
that.
drain them? Let's pick it up a little bit.
We got deep. We got really deep. Hold on.
I think
We got
that.
deep. We was really deep, y'all.
That was deep. Ooh, they was like, I thought it was
I
fun.
want really. Well, we're gonna get deep sometime.
Yeah,
We're
we're
gonna
gonna
have
get
fun. We're gonna get deep.
Thank
all
you.
the things.
And we will sometimes also cut each other off. We want to have a casual conversation.
I think we're doing better today.
We
We're
have been
doing
doing
better.
better.
We're not
Like,
cutting each other.
nah.
They be over the cutting off.
I can't
Them few
hear.
people that be in there.
But it's the same way when you're on the phone. It's not like the person can wave and say, hey,
Wait,
you
wait,
cut
right.
each other off. It's like these
Yeah.
habits that we have. And when this is what I'm saying about we don't communicate effectively because we're always on our phone. It's easy to cut somebody off on the phone. Yeah. And then they'll step back and you'll start talking. And you understand what I'm saying? So now when we meet, it's like we're still in cell phone mode. Hey, or we're just excited to chat.
Communication, how to communicate.
No, we definitely need to be cognizant when someone else is like.
I'm not always good though.
See, I stop. Like when y'all talk, I stop.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. But it'd be more you.
It'd be more you.
They did. I would definitely
Don't tear my sister up.
I don't care about stuff like that because for me, this is not. This is a conversation. I do know sometimes I get a little bit, but I try to. I'm learning and I'm also growing as an individual. Like, give me grace. The same thing.
We are all learning. This is the first time that either one of us have done this. We're used to talking to each other regular, and that's how it happens. Yeah. On the phone, we go off.
Cooking. Asia telling me how to put the gold on the gold. Saying, no, sis, move the brush away.
Did you remember the gold? We used to be gold boots. I remember when the girls back in the
gold dust. My friends used to call me the gold dust.
I used to take the bras and just go down my nose.
No, bitch, my whole face.
I got it from Naya and them. Like,
bitch, damn.
But yeah, okay, so that was great. I think that we could go ahead and go to break and then we'll come back with our guest.
Yeah, so we'll be back with our guest. You want to stay tuned for this.
Come on back. Come on back.
The guru, the founder, the counselor, the one who's in charge, Destination Tomorrow, Sean Coleman Ebony in the building. And Tabytha, this is Tabytha's dad, y'all. So Tabytha, if you want to add to that, you can go ahead and add to that.
No. What I would say, I'm going to take liberty and say he's the king of New York.
Okay, come on, King of New York. I'm here for that. Well, welcome, King.
You stupid. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
What's goody? Thank you. We're ecstatic to have you. I think that you have so much knowledge you can shed on the community for the things that you've done. But before we get into that,
okay.
I know you was listening to the conversation.
Yes, it was amazing.
And I definitely want to hear what you have to say regarding some of those things that we were just talking about.
I think the core point that all of us are missing is that it's like a movement that we have to build, right? Mm-hmm. And Ballroom provides the platform to build a movement. Mm-hmm. I think we don't have the insight into what movement building actually looks like, right? But you have all of the core elements in place to do that, whether it's through the respective houses, whether it's chapters, whether it's regions. We have all of the groundwork already laid. We just have to figure out within this movement, how do you move it forward? What does moving it forward look like? And finding those folks that are aligned with the purpose of moving it forward. Someone spoke about like leadership, like who defines what a leader is, right? We've given that title so freely. Mm. What is leadership? What is genuine leadership? Y'all also spoke about healing, right? Like individual healing, but what does collective healing look like? And if we're working towards collective healing, how do we take that back to our respective tribes or houses or regions and make sure that we're doing the collective healing together and then bringing that back to a national lens and then doing this movement building?
You see why that's my dad?
Okay.
You see that?
Yeah.
Talk your
So you're
edge.
saying don't worry about the other, like start it in Ballroom.
It has to start with us, right? Because we understand our purpose. Mm-hmm. We understand that there's a piece missing that, and I think someone said that too, like that human side. Like you want to humanize the movement, and while it may sound silly, like why don't they see us as humans? For whatever reason, they've been messaged not to. And I think the other piece that we're not looking at is that there's a lot of messaging happening to make folks turn against, if you will, their trans siblings and then the LGBT community as a whole, right? If you're looking or scrolling on, I'm a political geek, right? So if you're looking and you're scrolling, their messaging is around how trans folks are pedophiles and deviants and all of these things. So if you're constantly taking that info, if the algorithm allows you to constantly take that information in, eventually you start to hate what they're telling you you need to hate. Like, they're beneath you because they like babies. They're beneath you because they're going to attack your children. They're beneath you because we're not safe. Women aren't safe around them. That's the constant message. And we don't have a counter to it. What's our counter to that message?
It ain't us.
But it needs to be organized. Because that could be the message, right? But how do you organize that message and take it on a national platform so nationally we're all saying the same thing? It ain't us. We're human. I'm your sister. I'm your brother. I'm your uncle. I'm your dad. Like, all of those things. How do we bring it back to us being humanized and then start the movement building?
Come on.
All right.
Yeah.
Are we sipping
Have
to
a
that? Can I
meeting.
sip to that?
Yes,
Go ahead, sip
yes,
to it. I want to
yes,
sip to it.
sip to
Yeah.
that.
Sip to
Because I
that.
couldn't have said that like no better.
Woo.
So we talked about some topics. So before we jump into the questions, because I know we all have a lot of questions for you.
Okay.
Because I want to know the recipe of I need to know how do you become that successful and all the things that you're doing. But we talked about earlier. Do you feel? I mean, so I don't know if people missed it, but you are a trans man, realness in the ballroom scene. So do you feel the need to be accepted by society?
I think acceptance looks different depending on what your mission is, right? So acceptance for me is being able to go in those spaces and not be identified as the only black trans man in the room, but the person who showed up in the room that has a message, or the person that showed up in the room and has significant policy and things that he needs to contribute. I think we need to step away from it just being me being a trans person that needs acceptance and me being a human that needs acceptance, and then understanding that.
Can you explain to the people because we talk about trans women all the time, and we explained what a trans woman is. Can you explain to those people who have no clue what a trans man is?
That's a trick question. No.
No.
No, I'm just messing with you.
No, I'm just saying, I just want to break it down to the people who don't.
It's, when folks be like, oh, I was born in the wrong body, or all these other things, like whatever your journey is, what your journey is, for me, is someone who was assigned female at birth, right? I don't claim to be female. That's not me.
Okay.
But there was assignment that was given to me based on my genitalia. And then based on that, I was socialized as what they said I was based on my genitalia. And I am saying that that's not who I am. So a transmasculine person is someone who was assigned female at birth and their brain doesn't click to that assignment, and they're telling you that they're masculine.
Okay. And so the other question was, if you did, how do you separate your personal and ballroom life? Like, you being a person who was a competitor in ballroom and then doing all the things, being founder of Destination Tomorrow and having to help the community and all the things that you've done. Is there a separation between those people, like that person who's on the floor and that person who is in your personal life? How do you separate them if you do?
Well, it's funny because there has to be a certain separation, right? Because Sean Coleman is not showing up the same way Sean Ebony would show up. Anybody that remembers Sean Ebony was aggressive. He was a lot of things that you wouldn't normally associate with me being in this position, right? But all of those qualities that was Sean Ebony, Sean Coleman had to adopt in some ways. He may have had to tweak them a little bit, but he ultimately had to adopt them, because me walking into a room and saying I deserve to be here, right? It's almost like you're being judged, right? So I'm coming in here regardless. I don't care what y'all are thinking. I'm coming in here regardless, and this is what I'm bringing, right? Ballroom gave me the strength to be able to go into those rooms and do that. So Sean Ebony still shows up, but it's a watered down version. I'm not beating you up no more. I got lawyers for that.
Right.
Let's
Right.
go.
Right. Exactly.
Do you understand?
Do you
Yes. That's
Y'all like that little lawyer thing.
Yeah.
I hit them everywhere.
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 Ladies, do you have any questions before we go?
Everywhere.
I'm waiting.
We're missing out on this. What's going on here?
Oh, just yeah.
She liked the
You know, they
lawyer
got
comment. She liked the lawyer comment.
They got lawyers, y'all.
Can I, if I may?
Of course.
You were talking about this like transmasculine and transfeminine and the way folks show up, right? And I don't think oftentimes trans men get an opportunity to show up in true, authentic self, right? And I,
You
and I
like me
think,
going there already? She excited for this.
and I think it happens because it's like the gift and the curse for us, because I'm naturally, I don't want to say I'm naturally on 10, but sometimes I am, right? I'm a serious dude. I don't play games. I don't do any of those things. But my leadership style shows that. So people will say I'm unapproachable, I'm a misogynistic, all kind of crazy shit just for speaking up. But we have to remember that I was socialized as female. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is I need to reclaim that power. I'm in this space. Stop ignoring me, stop overlooking me, stop erasing me. And I don't think we get an opportunity to show that, because the moment you do, it's like, oh, he aggressive? Why he so aggressive? All I did was match your energy. But I'm the aggressive one, and I'm the misogynistic one. So I don't think we give trans masculine folks the opportunity to really like frame out who they are.
Protect our man.
Yes, and on the other side of that, you hear people try to use that, like, you know, like you hear people like, oh, the transgender is just, like, you know, when they want to throw it against us, like the same way how we said, when you said, oh, she's acting like a man. You know what I mean? Oh, you're not acting like a woman or whatever when we speak up or whatever. So, you know, they blame the trans masculinity. A lot of times you hear other people try to blame it on, oh, they're trying to, like, you know, they always, because they're not respecting you as a man first, like, anyway. You know, so they try to, like, that becomes a problem for them because then they want to remind you of your past. Do you feel that that happens a lot from community? And this draws me into a question that I have for you. Because when you started walking Ballroom,
Back in 87.
97.
87.
87. Okay, come on.
Sean Reese.
So at that time, they didn't even have the term. We didn't have the language trans men.
We didn't have the language. My category then was male illusionist.
Oh shit.
And then it
Why not?
transitioned, and then it transitioned into butch realness. And then I stopped walking once I started to like medically transition because I didn't think it was fair. Like you still have butchers that are in that space, and I'm already on some enhancement, so it wouldn't be fair to like walk against them, which is why I initially stopped walking balls.
Wow. Yeah. So when did we start, like, do you know when trans men, when they brought that in to Ballroom?
It was somewhere in the 2000s. I don't have the exact date.
Because people think that trans men just magically appeared.
No.
You know, because it was such the
Like
fight
Lucky
was like
Charms.
trans women. Yeah, it was like, all of a sudden, you know, I'm like, they've been here, we just didn't have the language, you know, like.
Yeah, they've been here and we didn't have the language. And I think in some ways we did ourselves a disservice. Sometimes I want folks to separate what it means to be trans and what it means to be trans in Ballroom.
Like I said, Queen, thank you.
Yes,
I think it's a
absolutely.
different look, right?
Exactly.
Because someone who's trans, like medically transitioning, right? You're already taking the hormones. You're gonna look masculine. You're gonna have a beard, possibly, right? So what defines your masculinity in Ballroom? And I think folks believe that they took a shot and now that they can walk balls because they look like a man. But everybody there looks like a man, and this is a competition. So how do you step your game up in the competition? I think the other thing that we didn't do is to your point, we didn't have language around what it meant to be trans and trans-masculine back in those days. So when we introduced the trans-masculine category, we didn't do any education. So if you're not educating folks on what it means to be trans, they still clue. They think they're butchers that take shots. And a butcher is a woman who loves women. That's not who I am. So there needed to be some kind of discussion or conversations around what it meant to be trans-masculine in Ballroom, and that hasn't happened.
Y'all have because I don't want to feel like
Well,
I'm taking
I have
over. honey.
no. I mean,
I talk to her all the time.
Yeah, you know, that's why that's why I think, like, for me, that's why, like, these are my mentors. Aside from him being my dad, like, that's what they pour into me. Him, Cecilia, Lala, Dominique, and that's why I'm the strong advocate the way I am. So we have these conversations because there are times when I step into spaces and I don't remember my power. And he'll remind me of that, or Dominique will remind me of that. And it's because I hear this so much that I understand who I am when I'm in spaces. And there may be times when, you know, I may be insecure in my moment, you know, or feel weak in the moment. But I always remind myself that I'm an educated Black trans woman.
That's why it's very important in Ballroom. We talked about chosen family on the last episode, that you pick people as
tribe.
parents, you know, that's going to guide you and mentor you and stuff. Like a lot of times I feel like in community, it's very aesthetic, you know, or who's turning it.
Yeah.
That this is going to be my mother, like my father. So I think that that's wonderful that you have, you know, someone like that behind you to make you stand in your power. Speaking of on the trans man topic, so on Facebook a lot lately, and just period, there has been this topic of, I feel like they're fetishizing trans men. It's like, I'm gonna try a trans man. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have sex with a trans man. Like, you know, it's like, it's not I'm gonna date a trans man or I wanna see how, you know, like it's always boiled down to sexual.
Right.
Like, you know, and a lot of people in the community don't understand that that's wrong. Like, you know, there's arguments about it. Oh, well, what did I say wrong? And then they keep, or they'll say stuff like, I just want some, you know.
Fuck.
Yeah, like fuck. And they'll say the P word and all of this stuff. And I'm like, you don't know how that makes people feel. Not like, you know, yeah, I don't want to just say, you know. You know what the P word is?
We know what the P word is.
I know what the P word is.
Yeah, I mean, like, what do you feel about that? Like, how do you have these conversations with other trans men? Like, how,
So, okay. I think trans people as a whole, right, have been sexualized. Trans women, it began with cis men, like, overly sexualizing trans women for whatever reason. I think the disappointment comes when trans people do it to each other. And I think we need to have more discussions around. I think when you take a step back, it goes back to what we were saying about trans masculine bodies and folks not giving us the opportunity to fully define as we see ourselves, right? And in some ways, folks not seeing us like that. And it's not every body, but it's in some instances it's the truth. I think the other layer to that, if you're looking at gay men or butch queens or whatever we calling them in the scene, and I'm going to say this as delicately as possible, hooking up is real, right? And when you hooking up with somebody, I'm not like, oh my God, you're beautiful, I want to get to know you. No, I want to fuck you. And that's just the bottom line. So if you see another opportunity, if you will, to try something, your whole approach, if I don't see you as a human or I don't see you as a person, I haven't gotten to know what a trans masculine person is or who they are, my approach is what it's always been. This is how I get, when I'm out there, this is how I'm going to approach you. I think it still goes back to education. We need to like really, really educate folks around the entire experience of being trans and not just with trans feminine bodies.
Absolutely. I agree. So, well, off of the trans thing, how did you, so you're a founder of Destination Tomorrow.
Yep.
How did that even come about? Like, how did you worked in nonprofit beforehand?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, and so how did you start, how did you come up wanting to start your own?
I didn't see me in those spaces, right? When I came home from jail, and I say that, and people are like, you were in jail? And I was like, yeah, I was in jail. But when I came home from jail, it was like I kind of gravitated towards non-for-profit work, right? And in doing that work, it's like I'm in the South Bronx, and it's a white woman that's running the organization. Very few white women in the South Bronx that live there, and that's their experience. So how can you provide core services or direct service to a community that you are not attached to? So it was always an issue for me that there were not more black, and I'm gonna do black and brown. I hate the term POC, and we'll talk about this some other time if you want. But how are there not more black and brown leaders in this space when the social determinants are heavily, we are the ones that are heavily impacted by all of the things that these social determinants drive. How are we not the drivers for the solution? And that's why I started it.
So tell us, like, for those that don't know, what exactly that your organization does.
Everything.
Say it again.
Everything. I'm joking.
Can you give us a few?
Tempress was like, no, I need more
I
detail.
just need a little bit more. Not just kidding. No, because I know a few of the things, but I need people to understand exactly what, you do.
So we started with direct service, right? And the goal was to give folks the tools and the skills that they would need to be successful. You go to these other agencies and they'll bring you in and they'll write your name and information down. And they give you a Metro card and maybe a slice of pizza. And I wanted to make sure that if you came in, you left with some solid skills. So we do job readiness, GED, life skills, professional development, financial literacy, because my goal was to program you to give you those things that you're gonna need. And then it kind of like took a life of its own because DT is like this community-informed organization. So you could come in and you'd be like, I'm gonna talk to Sean. Sean, I believe we need A, B, and C. And I'd be like, okay. And if we got enough of I believe we need A, B, and C, then we're gonna put A, B, and C in place. So we have a food pantry. We have a shelter that we were working with trans women, 25 and over, who are former or current sex workers, right? And we were very specific because the housing and shelter situation in New York was avoiding or neglecting that population, and we wanted to make sure that we fill that gap. We're also a grant maker, right? So through the Gilead Transcend Fund, we get $1 million every year, and what we do is nationally we look for trans-led organizations so that we can re-gift the money and kind of help them build sustainable organizations. We do shelters. I have 2 shelters, well, 3 shelters now, and 2 of them are migrant shelters. Right? And folks don't know that we also run migrant shelters. So DT is not just LGBTQ, it's community focused. Like we're taking care of all family because if none of us are free, if one of us free, none of us are free. So we want to make sure that as the migrants were coming, they had a space that they could like really, really, really get those same core skills. We have spaces in the Bronx, which is our flagship space, but then we also have Atlanta, which has been open almost 2 years, and it sustains itself. We were actually the first LGBTQ organization in Atlanta to ever receive funding from the city of Atlanta and recognition from Georgia as a whole. So we went into a red state, and began to provide services, and Georgia acknowledged that we were the non-for-profit of the year for last year.
That deserves an applause.
So, and then when people applaud this stuff, it's like it's not for applause, right? I really feel like this is my passion. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I get acknowledgments, and it's amazing. Thank you, I appreciate it. But the acknowledgement comes more from seeing a community member who we've hired, who has now programmed through the entire thing, and now they're making $85,000 a year because we've continued to train them and pour into them, and that has happened. I got a couple of employees that we've taken from beginning to end that are now making $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year.
Sure is. Sure is. But what I will say is I'm going to clap for you.
Thank you.
Even when
Absolutely.
nobody
It
else is
deserves it.
clapping for you, I'm going to clap for you.
Absolutely. I think it definitely deserves applause. What can you give us like a little gem, like, just a little piece of the recipe of like,
Are you opening your
what
own thing?
kept you, who knows?
Are you opening up an
You never
envelope?
know, girl. Like, no. What
my stuff.
kept you? Because, I'm sure you had challenges. Like, especially like you said, you did time, you work for nonprofit,
Yeah,
they don't know how bad that
That
irks
look
me.
was everything.
The cackling hens. What was that?
You said it?
Yeah, I thought that was at a housewives. That's what she called it, the cackling hens. It was something, but I think it fits you guys. However,
Whatever you mean.
like, what is something you would say to people in the community to have this type of success that you have with helping others? Like, what is just something that you can say to motivate or inspire others?
A few things, right? That consistency is key. Stay laser focused on what the plan is, and it has to be something you enjoy, right? I love what I do, I would show up I did show up every day and not make any money. The first 5 years I didn't make a nickel, and I think people expect it to be overnight. And now that I make money, it's like, oh my God, why is he? It's like, son, where were you when I was sleeping on the couch and they towed my car? And like, where were you then? But you have to stay consistent, and it has to be something that you are passionate about, because you're going to hit those pitfalls. And what motivates you when you hit those pitfalls, other than the fact that this is something that I love doing?
And I remember you told me something about him starting with his own money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He invested in himself, and sometimes, like, when I hear him tell that story and share it, like, I'm like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Because it goes to show that if you really believe in yourself, you're going to invest in yourself and present yourself the best way you can. And sometimes that comes with taking risk.
But investors also believe that, right? If you are not willing to bet on yourself, why would we give you any money? If you don't believe you have the recipe, why should we?
And I think that's what happens. A lot of spaces probably they're not cooking with all the ingredients. So,
in some ways, I think we do our community a disservice because everybody's standing on business, but they don't know what business is. Like, what is business for you? What does business look like? Do you know how to read a contract? And if you don't know how to read a contract, do you have folks in your corner that can read a contract? Do you have a rider? What is your set rate?
Can you be my mentor?
you heard it here first. But I do want to ask you a question. Baby, if he mentioned that one, it's just going to be, y'all are going, the businesses she about to open.
Oh, yeah, because I see that you, also that you do help other nonprofits, right? Mm-hmm. And just people, period, and building businesses. And I thought that was amazing as well.
I got a 6-figure consulting business. So if I walked away from non-for-profit right now, I would still be able to sustain my lifestyle based on the consulting business.
Get that. So that's one thing he did say, make sure you have multiple streams of revenue.
Multiple streams.
That's my dad.
Y'all better be writing this stuff down, baby.
But let me ask you a question.
Y'all get this for free?
Out of everything that was asked, for me, watching you do it, my thing is, why did you, like some people call it a calling, right? What was it that made you say, this is what I'm going to do? Like, what was it? What was that feeling, that unction that you had to do this? Because like you said, there's ups and downs, but you remain consistent and you continue. So what is it that drives you, that made you do this?
Because it's not enough of us doing it, right? And I think, you can't have a discussion around LGBTQ community members without including Black LGBTQ community members. And if you Google Black LGBTQ community members, you'll see very few. So I wanted to make sure that we had space in that space, right? And then the other thing is because we deserve it. We deserve everything that I'm giving to my community. The skills, the opportunity, the space to grow, the mental health and wellness, everything that I'm giving to my community, we deserve it. And I want them to understand. I'm not giving you anything. This is you were born in a certain space, and these are your birthrights. You don't recognize that. And y'all spoke about religion earlier, and I think if you really take a step back with religion, who do you identify as your religious leader, right? What is the religion that you prescribe to, and have you ever had a discussion with those religious leaders around who you are? Because oftentimes you'll have a discussion with them and they'll be like, I don't have anything against LGBTQ folks. And then they'll go and have a completely different discussion, and we don't hold them accountable for what they just said. So to your point earlier, it's like, I was rocking with you until you said, but that was when you were supposed to call him out and be like, B, come here for a minute. Nah, your sermon said this, but me and you were talking 2 weeks ago and you said that. Where you at with it? We need to be more present. We need to hold our leaders accountable.
Yeah. So I want to ask you a couple questions. I want to tap into Ballroom to give, our viewers and myself some history on who you are as in Ballroom. How did you enter Ballroom?
That's a funny story. So Andre Mirza is one of my best friends. We grew up together. I've known Andre since we were 12 years old.
Shout out to
what up,
Andre, the icon.
Okay.
Since we were 12 years old, born and raised in Brooklyn, not too far from here. And we outed each other. We came out to each other, right? I came out first, and then I was like, I like girls, and da-da-da-da-da. And Andre was like, okay, and went home. And I was like, oh, shit. I just outed myself. I hadn't told him that I like girls. He going to tell everybody, right? He runs down the stairs, and he's on his way out the door. Next thing I know, he circles back and he went upstairs. He pushed the door open. He was like, I like boys. And I was like, yes. What are we going to do? It's just us because we in bad style. We don't know nobody else. So we was going to go look for the gays. And we went to look for the... We went to
Everybody got a Christopher Street.
We went to Christopher Street and we found our way over to Washington Square Park. And if you've ever been in Washington Square Park, the way it's kind of set up.
Yeah.
it almost looked like a runway, right? It's a bench on this side, it's a bench on this side, and then you walk through to get through into the park. And it was a few folks, Kim Pendaris and Stewart, and Stewart was LaBeija at the time, and Marvin Pendaris. There was a bunch of folks, and we went down and they just roasted us. And we had no clue what was going on.
Good.
And then they were like, "Do you want to?" They read down, and then they were like, "Do you want to be a part of our house?" That was Stewart. He still called me Beast.
Beast. Right, Beast.
Shout out Stewart, I love you.
Shout out to
We love you, Uncle Stewart.
Yeah, Beast. He still does that. He'll text me like, "What you doing, Beast?" And I'm like, "God, from the '80s."
Tabytha does that too. She calls people Beast.
Well, you
She
know.
be like, "Give me my receipt, Beast." I'm like, Tabytha. Y'all don't know the side of her.
I do.
I also think we kind of thin-skinned now because the way we used to roast each other made us tougher, in my opinion, right? It gave me the opportunity. Like, can a motherfucker in none of these spaces that I go into now say anything that I haven't already heard? All right, that's all you got, but this is why I came. And you can't throw me off. You cannot throw me off because I've seen and heard all of this shit before. All right, I was this. Okay, I'm not that no more. All right, you was this. Now what? So Ballroom gave me the opportunity to be able to do that. When they asked me if I wanted to be in the house, I was like, I live with my grandmother. Like, I don't even know what you're talking about. We wound up going to tracks on 19th, and we hung out with them.
God.
We had a beautiful time, and I became a LaBeija. Andre and I both.
What houses have you all been in?
So my first house was LaBeija,
Okay.
and then I'm an original Revlon.
Yep.
Okay.
So, yeah. LON. Yeah.
Yes. No shade. I remember when I came in, how y'all kind of bullied me, though. It was you.
Those were the good days.
Oh, you was the Revlon when you was the
Yeah,
Revlon?
James. Shout out to James Icon. It's my day one.
my
When we
brother.
birthed, he came a Revlon.
Oh, James is the Revlon.
And I remember Sean
James was
was
a
like,
Revlon too.
"What y'all gonna walk?
I had no
And
filter
why
back
does the
then.
house?
Twins.
And why does the House of Revlon need you?" And I was
Yeah, I
sitting
had
there
no
like,
filter back then. I'm nice now.
and that was the first time I was like, "Sounds a little cunty for Chris." I said, "I'm a Vogue. I'm a bit right." So I used to try to Vogue like Letitia, so that's why you see her influence in my performance. I remember the first time I walked too, it was crazy. It was Butch Queen up in drags. Bring it like the femme queen of your dream. That was my proudest moment. Baby, I had padded my body so bad and put the
You did
nails.
Letitia?
And I won grand prize. Me and DeAndre Revlon, we had to share
Oh,
because
God
Tony
bless
wouldn't
DeAndre.
let us.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Tony
my
didn't
kids.
let
Let
us.
y'all battle back then.
He
We
wouldn't
didn't
let
do
us
that
battle
battle.
back
Yeah.
then. But Sean, it was hard. Sean and them made it hard to get into the house. And I think sometimes, like you said, we're a little bit too soft
to be
about
like
being
that.
stern and being a little bit hard to let just anybody come in your house.
Yeah, because nowadays, child, they like,
They let
oh,
me
you're
in.
not being inclusive. You're not, we're not,
I want to ask
They
you a
feel like,
couple
oh.
of questions on Ballroom as another question.
Sure.
What advice would you give to the new leaders, the new up-and-coming leaders in Ballroom now?
I think the first thing is to make space, right? That there's enough space for all of us, but everybody plays a role. And then try to figure out what the role is for those members in your house. Like I think the second thing would be to learn your craft. When I say learn your craft, not in Ballroom, but as a leader, because it goes back to that, what defines a leader? And if you just walking and winning makes you a leader, I think it's going to be some challenges as you attempt to lead people because your area of expertise is walking best dress or realness or whatever. It's not in leadership.
Yeah.
So how do you make sure that you're presenting as you need to?
Have you ever been father of a house?
No.
You never wanted to?
So speaking of that, what other houses were you in besides Revlon?
Ebony was the last one.
Oh, I'm sorry, and Ebony. So you never wanted to be like Father Ebony?
No.
Why?
It comes with too many challenges. I think this generation expects too much. Like when we were doing it. Well, we were also hustling, so there's that.
Dude,
I was gonna say, you don't wanna talk about
There was
Garnett.
also a lot of money
You don't
coming in.
want to talk about Garnett Street in Brooklyn. Ooh, baby. You already know.
You remember Garnett Street in Brooklyn?
Yeah,
Baby.
I remember Garnett Street in Brooklyn. I was hanging out with Lisa at that time, and I used to play in her closet.
Garnett Street
was
Yeah,
yeah,
some
baby.
stories from there.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
We went
I'm
left
sorry.
again. Asia, go ahead.
So,
Look at you, was like, girl, what happened?
well, so what do you think in ballroom what do you think is missing in ballroom? Or do you think anything is missing in ballroom as of right now?
I think there's a few things missing in ballroom. I think ballroom is still playing small. They can fight me if they want to.
I think it's small.
I think the thinking is small, right? If you look at ballroom right now, overall, ballroom is international.
Yeah.
But the folks that were drivers of ballroom and making sure that the culture stayed alive are not benefiting from that. And I fully believe it's because we haven't organized it in a way that allows us to benefit from that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we need people like yourself.
No. And I'm going to say this, and the reason I'm going to say this is because ballroom also needs some of those folks to relinquish power. Because the folks that don't understand this whole visionary thing and how, like, we should have management companies. If you're putting people on poles
You
and
just said
legendary...
I
was
literally-
talking about
You
all
just
of
said
that.
I was
Yeah.
just saying that.
We need management companies. We need managers,
Yes.
right? We need
We have so much
like
talent.
there's so many directions that we can go with ballroom, and we have these folks that only want to see it as, oh no, just come to my ball. It's $70,
make
show
this
up,
little
whatever,
money.
and they only see this part of my ballroom. And we need visionaries that understand, like just like hip hop. In 5 years, ballroom can be doing all of these amazing things. Ballroom will be doing all of these amazing things,
Hey.
right? But it's gonna
But
leave
who's
us
gonna get it?
behind.
Yes,
But it's gonna leave
who's
us
gonna get it?
behind
Right.
because we've introduced it to a whole nother culture that has the mentality, the financing, and all of the things to snatch ballroom away from us, and we'll be back in basements on some. Oh, we went back underground because we wanted to. No, we went back underground because we didn't have a plan.
They took
Exactly.
it. They took it.
So I think the leaders now, as opposed to arguing about whose status is what. Okay, I'm a legendary icon, 3-time Hall of Famer. Bitch, what that
I
mean?
mean, we can't go nowhere and see that.
And
We don't even have.
And
like-
even if you could, even let's say we got it up in the Smithsonian, right? Did you get credit for putting it there, or did somebody else? And does putting it there lead you somewhere greater? And I think we don't have that vision. We still have this 80s mentality or 70s mentality that, oh my God, we're this underground community and we're marginalized and we got it's surpassed that. And if our thinking doesn't surpass that, we're screwed.
Yeah, I think we think it's small still. Like you said, I think we don't think as one. We don't see it. I think a lot of times people don't see ballroom as a great place because they don't care to make it better. I think a
Thinking
lot of
small.
times people, they're not, people I think are so small when it comes to even money. I get people want to make $70 for a ball, but you can make millions of a dollar if we all work together.
But I think
Where's our
And invite
museum?
other-
Where's our museum?
Where's our place where we got wraparound services,
Our
a
own
practice
security by now.
space,
We should have
security company,
Everything.
event planning company,
yeah.
all of those
Yeah.
things. But I think Asia, to your point, it's also about
Management.
the houses individually, right? I'm not gonna help the Margellas because I'm an Ebony or used to be or what.
You're not an Ebony no more?
No.
Oh, we gonna get on that next.
Okay.
But we don't. But we don't necessarily help because you see it through this lens, and the lens is your house. And,
That's all.
and we need to see it as a community. Yes, we can still be competitive and do
battle
all
on
of
the
those.
floor.
I'll battle you down on the floor. But when we go in this boardroom, bitch, we all
you
on
all
the same
together.
page
Right.
because we all understand the value that we can bring out of that room, and we haven't gotten there yet.
I hope your ballroom people are listening.
Yeah,
to
come
this.
on. It's time. I really think it's time.
Yes.
I think it's time. Like, we are
what?
everywhere.
Like absolutely.
So let me-
Everywhere.
Let me.
Everywhere, like
Everywhere.
everywhere, all over. We're touching so many people where they're now doing what we should be doing.
They're making
doing
reels.
that.
They're making
Like,
reels.
they're doing
going
They're making
trend-
millions of-
They're making reels trending. We've seen babies in different countries dipping
Yes,
and
they carry it.
voguing.
They are
And
carrying.
our
We're not
black
getting
and
nothing.
brown people put up a reel and they don't even get that much
But that-
attention,
but-
right?
but
But,
that-
that's just the algorithm. But I'm saying that's what I mean by so much more that we can do as a community if we did band together.
But it's not always necessarily the algorithm, right? I think that the other piece that we're missing is that there has always been this concentrated effort when it comes to oppression of minorities, and we just happen to be the minority of choice this election cycle, right? And I think we have to recognize that for what it is. There is an organized effort against trans bodies right now, which is why all these anti-trans laws are being passed.
about it.
That's like 2 or 3 organizations, companies that raise a lot of money. They fundraise against who we actually are, and we don't have an answer to that. So I think that's another piece of it. And I'm not stopping.
Yeah.
No, stop.
No, don't stop. Don't stop
Give
because
it.
that's the truth.
Yeah.
Like, and these are the things that are happening right now. And like we stay like watching every other week. It's another state that passed another bill that stops us from getting access to health care.
You know what my question to Ballroom would be, and maybe one of you ladies can answer it for me. Why aren't we more politically engaged?
I think for me, it's scary jumping in the ring of that because sometimes a lot of us aren't educated enough to even have those type of conversations.
Right.
I didn't decide to go to school. I started to see myself in the career I want to see it in. I was like, no, I need to learn some more skills,
Right.
So I can have these type of conversations with people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like be like minded, and I feel like we don't have that. But I think it's more scary. It's scary.
Y'all want to answer because I got another question.
Yeah, it was. I believe that until you become a certain age, too, do those things even matter to you? Like we have a lot of youth in the ballroom or whatever, and sometimes politics is the furthest thing from their mind. Like I know now, that is something that we should be more educated on. And even when we did do the voter gag, like we was outside, like, the people was outside. So I do think that those things should happen more. But I think that it's so competition based and they're just in the moment right then. No, the younger kids are not thinking in the future or along those lines.
You want to answer?
Well, my response is going to be, I think education is a very important piece. Like educating our community around the importance of understanding political science and, what it means for us to actually mobilize and understand the climate and the cultural climate and where we need to place our backing to and who we support. And that means in city, state, and all the policy makers. You understand what I'm saying? And we need to show up because our numbers are more larger than they can imagine. But it's about us educating and informing them on the cultural climate that's being, and the wars that's being waged against us and how it will affect them.
Ballroom needs to rethink what leaders are.
That's what I was gonna say.
They have to, because they have to. They have to learn, I think that we've chosen, I argue with all the time about putting people in place of leadership and stuff, because, a lot of people are like, oh, she's turning it.
And that's it.
Make her mother. Make her father. Oh, he just won that last ball. So and so, so. And I'm like, but is this person a nurturer? Is this person going to teach these kids what they need, in the future? What are they doing? What are they going to do?
What are their core values?
Yeah, what are their values? Yeah, nobody looks at that when they put people in these roles. And I think that's where Ballroom goes wrong.
But go ahead.
No.
But I think that it goes back to the competitive side, right? And I think when you're looking at Ballroom, it has to be almost like this two-brain mentality, right? So yes, the competitive side says, I want to go out and I'm slaying you. But the business side of it needs to kick in. And I think each house has to have those two components. And then we'll be able to identify leaders that are good on Ballroom, but are also good in everyday politics and can guide their leaders, their folks.
I wanted to say I also think it's deeming as well. Deeming people, and you're giving roles to people because they get deemed to be legendary, or you assume that these things come with legendary statuses or over iconic statuses. I think, I know back in the day they said they used to take statuses. It would be 5-6 years, and then when I started in Ballroom, it was 10 years for legendary. I think it should be 15 now for legendary.
Yeah.
I think it should be I think so.
Well, you heard Lola. She said she got
Them
her
kids gonna
icon
be-
status.
No,
and
the
it took
reason
her
I say that is
17
because
years.
it's the things that y'all are asking for. Sometimes a person been in the scene since they was 12 years old. I was in the scene since I was 16. So, sometimes you don't have an understanding on even how to lead correctly because nowadays we don't really have leaders around
no
showing
training.
us. But it was before you had an understanding with some stuff.
But here's the thing. Really, like you said, the attention. When we're so distracted by so many things, when these opportunities come, these conferences, these things that we have to try to disseminate that information, the numbers that are coming are very low. So my thing is, again, like, what could we do? And to me, it's education, and that starts in your house. You have to have someone in your house who is able to make them understand the importance of it. Leadership is so important.
But for me, it's not even just about education. It's around shifting that whole message, right? If, to your point, Asia, if status is what you're messaging in your house, and you're saying this is the pinnacle, this is what we want for you. We want you to be an icon. We want you to be a Hall of Famer. We want this. Your entire focus goes to that. Imagine if you said, this is the pinnacle, and the pinnacle for us is we're going to be the house that got the most folks out to vote. We're going to be the house that got the most folks out as poll watchers, because we need those too. If you shift the message and the focus, but will houses commit to actually doing that? Because it doesn't respond on the floor. It responds collectively, and it goes back to the collective healing that we're talking about. So will houses then say, you know what, this is a little bit more than your status. It's about, as a collective, the ballroom scene needs to move from here to here. And these are some ways that we can do it. But we haven't, because we've tried to do voter drives and all of those other things, and people don't show up. So that was why it was my question, like, is it important? And if it's not important, what do we have to do to make it important for folks to actually come out? Because 2024, if the orange guy get back in office, all of us can book it. And that's the reality. Like
he said, that's the first thing he comes
democracy as you know it is done. And people are saying like, oh, that's an exaggeration. Oh, you're being dramatic. No, it's not. Like, we are not that far removed from Jim Crow and all of those other things. So how...
Everybody's going to gag.
Everybody's going to gag. So we running around talking about balls. Bitch, we won't have a ball unless you're doing it on the plantation and as you easing down and picking whatever they told you to do. Woo!
Late night when everybody sleep.
So I do have one more question, right? As you watch your category progress, who are some of your best trans men that you think is hitting right now?
I think they've watered the category down a lot.
Sip on that.
And I'm not taking away from anybody. I love everybody. I promise you I do.
What do you mean by watered it down?
You go there.
Yeah.
When we walk...
She said.
Okay,
Don't do that.
I got beautiful women here with me, right? If you're judging realness, what are you judging it on? If everybody that walked out looks masculine, then what's the next layer? And I don't think they give us the opportunity to go to the next layer. They bring everybody out, they stand them in front. It's like, okay, 1, 2, 3. But you didn't show why you're the alpha male in that whole presentation. We don't get an opportunity to show that. It's like, okay, we just, and sometimes it takes away from the category because we're all just standing here. You don't get an opportunity. Now,
so what would be like, how would you do that? Like, being that we're on a time constraint, like, you have certain time for different categories. What is it that you think that they can do to...
You allow them to sell it. Like for me, when I walk balls, I'm that dominating presence. I don't give a fuck who out here. I don't care who out here. It don't matter who out here. I'm that motherfucker, and I'm finna show you. And that has to come across.
Feel that?
And if you don't give it an opportunity to come...
She like that shit. She's like, yeah. No, she like, yeah.
Because I used to get out of the picture, see these bitches like that.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you don't give me an opportunity, if I come out there and I start to move around, stop moving.
Right.
Don't touch him.
They'd be trying
stay right here. How do I show you that I'm dominating these motherfuckers?
I think maybe too because it's gotten so aggressive. Like, the
exactly.
Like
I was getting ready to say because the girls be like,
the girls be
and my
doing
thing is, where does that come from?
Go
there. You wanted me to go there.
I mean, honestly,
peel back the layers.
No, I'm not gonna
talk about it.
I don't know. Yeah, because sometimes that just gets really crazy.
I just don't think we get the same opportunities. And our category is always rushed too. Mm-hmm. So they'll call it out and you get maybe 5 minutes to come out. You get 5 minutes to come out, line up, get judged, and decide a winner.
Okay. So
when all of the other categories, it's like y'all got 15, 20 minutes to do whatever the fuck y'all doing. It's like, transman realness, going once, going twice, okay, it's closed. Or it's
and
just
then
a rush.
has like school board, they have executive, they have, you know what I'm saying?
And the girls only got femme queen realness.
Right. They
Like,
do it to the
we won't break-
trans
Well, the
Yeah,
trans men
period.
only got trans men realness. And
Exactly.
everybody is, and I don't think they understand how fluid trans men are either. You got trans men in Vogue, you got trans men that are in
Yeah, they
touch
got
with their
trans men.
feminine
That's what
side,
I'm first
that are ostracized because they're in touch with their feminine
Tabytha
side.
don't see the trans man, bro.
Don't do that.
You
I
remember we had the
never, wait a
conversation? You
minute.
remember we had the conversation?
Don't do that.
Didn't you say
Tempress
something
said,
like
I'm
that?
calling it
Wait a
out.
minute.
Savvy.
So let me say
Savvy.
this.
Did you say
You don't see the Vogue? You don't see the Vogue?
Hey, wait a
We didn't-
minute.
She don't see the Vogue?
Right,
Wait.
how you feel about the King?
Wait a minute. To be fair, I have evolved since that last conversation. After having a conversation with my nephew, shouts to Fabian, and you know,
I like Fabian.
yeah, and we had the conversation when we went to get our hair done, and he said some things to me, and sometimes that's all it takes is the opportunity to have that conversation about how important it is. And once I saw that, I was like, could you imagine, like, if they said I could only do one thing in ballroom
Right.
and I couldn't do anything else, how restricted would that be for me as a person?
And to be fair, that conversation, they made the trans men, it was Vogue Femme, and they had the Vogue in skirts.
That was crazy.
And I think that was
like,
emasculating
come
them.
on,
Yeah.
like I don't
You
feel
making
like
fun of
But
them.
all jokes aside, you could have
didn't
turned
have
it.
to walk.
But no, you could have wore kilt and still turned it. Like, so there are ways
But
that
not
you can do
everybody's
it.
that creative and may feel.
that's
But that's why we need to like we're gonna
Stop trying to water
lead
it
into
down.
that side of creativity for transmasculine folks.
So going back to us, so now we know that what you meant
But
by
who are your
watering
top
down. So
five?
who are your top?
Yeah, he said he don't have any. He said
No,
he don't
I like
have
Fabian.
Didn't say that.
I like Fabian.
Did
I like
not.
Sincere. I like Jason. All the little young ones coming up. I don't think they get an opportunity to like really express themselves. You know what? But back in my day, I always wanted to say that. But when we started walking, like there was this presence, right? You wasn't coming out and cutting up and acting anything other than masculine. Because even though you may have done it on 42nd Street or in Sue's or wherever the fuck we was hanging out, it followed you. So when you came back in, it was like,
Yes.
you was cutting up. No, we don't see you as
See, they tell me
masculine.
it's the illusion of the night. Because I'm like, how can
No.
I, if you standing up there walking against somebody that I never seen cut up like that, but when I know you and you giving girl, so, how do I just erase that from my mind just because you standing up there acting right now? Like,
I wanted to say something.
Wow,
I
that's a
wanted to say
deep.
something.
That's a deep.
yeah, people
Because,
like,
but
it's
then,
the illusion.
but then
it's the
again, it
illusion.
still puts you in the box that you have.
But even
to
for
behave
butch
this
queens,
way
when
all
it's the
time.
illusion, I'm not to cut you off, but even for butch
We
queens,
do
the
that
illusion
here
could
anyway.
always go but so far,
They gonna read us.
right? Because if you had one of the butch queen boys that was cutting up, 9 times out of 10, when you saw him walk again, you like, child,
like,
please,
Tabytha,
and you
please.
giving it to right. It's a girl, she a whatever.
She go down at the other club.
So they're even they are managing how they present. Because they know they're being judged from the moment they walk through the door. That was what I was told. From the moment you walk through the door until you're judged, you are being judged.
And that's why I feel like it's unfair for trans to walk against, like, well, for me, like, if I have to walk against a butch queen, like, let's say, for instance, realness with a twist, my realness is not just me standing and acting. They're acting. You're looking at an aesthetic. Like, it's a look, too, that comes with it. Theirs, it doesn't necessarily have to be that. They could just be like, shit, you know what I'm saying?
But it's-
But
it's
so-
also who you are, right? Like, I'm not acting in anything that I've
Right.
said or done
Say
right
that.
now. I'm not acting. This is who
Right.
the fuck
This
I
is who
am.
I am.
So when I
That's
show up, this is how I show up. Sometimes I'm a little aggressive. Sometimes I'm nice and kind. You don't know who you're going to get. I match energies. But what you see is what you get.
Right.
And I want folks to be able to be safe in their and being their authentic self. I think to take a step back, do trans men really feel safe to be who they are in ballroom, or do they feel like they have to perform, right? Do we give enough space to say, okay, these are the ones that are real, but there are also these that are a little feminine and he likes the Vogue, or they're also one, like whatever category they want to put themselves in, have we given them a safe space to do that without stigma or judgment? And if not, then they're gonna go over here and perform because you've given them nothing else to do.
Yeah. I want to say something. Everything that you're speaking about, I grew up on individuals like this, and I think this is what's missing in ballroom.
The discussion?
discussion and people that aren't afraid to speak their mind of what ballroom is.
Maybe they're gonna roast me later, but it's okay.
No, but
They can't
I
roast you.
think
This is the education.
no, but I think like no,
Exactly.
it's hearing you is really respecting you because the way how you're speaking about ballroom is what it really is. And I'm so happy that I grew up around individuals that were speaking to me like that, and I guess that's why I see it the way I see it. But I also feel like that is what's missing in ballroom. We have people that are leaders and running houses. They're on the panels that know nothing. They're trying to rush the category. They're trying to hurry up, and it's all about the win. It's not about the moment anymore.
Yeah.
You were making a moment when you were up there aggressive. They're going to remember what you
Yeah.
did, but they're not doing that no more. It's not about that. It's not about being. It's not about the win. It's about it's not about the moment. It's about the win and the money. Oh, you hurry up. We need to win this category tonight.
Yeah.
We need, we know how we got to hurry up and win tonight, y'all. You walk real this year. Yeah, you real. You're a little real. You go win anyway. It's not about being really real. It's not about actually knowing how to vogue. It's not actually about being sexy. It's about, oh, I can make you sexy.
Yep.
Or I can make, you don't even have the qualifications to get there yet.
Yeah, and it's so ironic because I tell my wife that all the time. My wife is Jay Lanvin and Janae Lanvin, and she walks. They call her the first lady.
The first lady.
First lady Lanvin. Shout out, baby. I love you. But I tell her that all the time. Like, don't get caught up in the win. Make moments. Because half of those folks that won, nobody's gonna ever remember what they did. If you go out there and make a moment, they'll be
They're
like,
gonna be
"Yo,
talking
that
about
bitch
that
turned
moment.
it."
For years.
For years, they'll talk about it. You ain't take the trophy home. You may not have taken the money home, but they're talking about you. They're discussing you. It's about moments. And to your point, enough people are not focused on like the creativity in ballroom that creates those moments.
No shade. And Janae has definitely made moments
Well,
after moments.
So let's lighten the load.
Yeah.
Because we went real deep and stuff.
You got too deep?
And we know him as, this founder and activist and all that. Let's get to the crazy, sexy
Uh-oh.
questions, baby.
My PR
Jay,
team
can
is
you bring
standing
us
by,
that
so we'll see how this
bowl?
works.
Let's see what these
Yes.
questions is giving. You pick 3 questions.
Take the whole bowl?
Yeah, take the whole bowl. You can put it on the floor.
So this question, did you tell them how to
Yeah,
go?
you
You either pick when you pick one.
Mm-hmm.
When you read it, if you don't want to answer it, you take a shot. But you gotta take a whole shot. We're
But
gonna
I need
pour
some more to take
Yeah,
a
we're gonna
shot
have to
here,
pour
son.
some more in there.
Somebody can you get
Something
that
over there.
bottle. Get that little.
Yes. I said you got us some gifts
Okay.
too.
Oh, yeah, we
Yes,
what's
let's
up
go
with
with
the
the guys.
gifts? You
Bring
trying
the
to keep our
gifts.
gifts?
Can I bring them out? Or
Yes,
somebody else?
yes.
Oh, can somebody bring the gift? Yes, please, Daye. Daye gonna bring them.
They gonna bring
My
you
bad.
the-
I wasn't going to take them
You
back.
was taking
Yes,
them back.
taking them back. Oh my God.
He would
God.
never. How dare you? Don't.
Yeah, she got your favorite.
That she would have flipped it.
That's what it flip with you.
I just want to take a moment, right?
Oh wait,
Because
he's going to Jersey. No, he's going to Jersey.
I'm good. I think
Just take a little.
I just want to take a moment, right? I don't think we celebrate ourselves as much as we should, right? Yo, the shit that y'all are doing is monumental. Like
Thank you.
the
Thank
platform that you're creating, the opportunity to give folks space to like define themselves, ballroom and whatever else they want. It's amazing. So I just want to congratulate you all. And I'm praying that y'all are gonna be consistent, that it's gonna get rocky, folks are gonna doubt you, they're gonna talk shit, the whole 9, but I need y'all to keep going because we need this presence, we need this platform. So I bought a gift.
Yeah.
It's drinks, but
I love cocktails. I'm a cocky girl. I love my cocktails.
Thank you.
That's heavy. What
Heavy,
you got?
bitch.
Yes,
heavy.
thank
a
you.
little personal pack.
Wait a minute. You called. Wait a minute. I'm feeling some way. Wait a minute.
I
You
got
called Tempress Asia. Who am
Don
I?
Julio,
My
baby.
daughter.
Oh, I
My
just want
daughter.
y'all to know he claims
big
them.
bottle of Don.
When you're his child,
So
he'll claim
I want
you.
y'all to relax and enjoy.
shade.
But you know,
What shade?
She always do this. You just gotta be like,
I never go anywhere. I never go anywhere without a call to action. That's just who I am. So my call to action to you all: how do you cultivate the following that you're gonna get to create the movement? Because the movement can start right here. There's an opportunity to educate and take folks where we need to take them if the messaging is correct. So the challenge to you, or else I'm coming to get my bottles back. No, but the challenge to you is to make sure that this is a safe space, that it's an educational space, and that it's a fun space. Okay?
Are we doing that?
I think we are. I think we are.
Can
I think
oh,
we're in a
y'all
good
got nothing
road.
to toast. I was going to toast that, but okay.
Yeah, we
I
need to
got
toast
nothing.
that. We need to toast that. Dang, can we get some more little one too?
My earring
We'll
fell off.
want you. Anything is fine.
Don't y'all hate in the
Any
middle?
liquor,
Or you
anything.
just fake it.
You gotta bring anything back
I'm gonna
there.
just take them
Fake it,
off. Yeah.
It's fine.
No.
Yeah, that is fine. The Henny, yeah.
Wait, what's the question?
Y'all stupid.
What's the question?
What is it? Oh no.
You
Oh no, you
gotta
gotta take a
you
shot.
gotta
You
drink
gotta take a shot.
it. We gotta know what the question is.
You gotta read the question and then deny it.
He's changing it again.
No, but you
you
gotta-
gotta at least read
You gotta
it.
read it so they know.
That was
like-
Jay. That's fine. That was Jay.
What the fuck is wrong with y'all?
Wait, you gotta read
What
the
was the question? We haven't
question.
been
The
asking
first
the question.
one. The first one.
The first one.
Yeah.
What was that?
Oh no.
Have you ever had with a male figure in ballroom?
That was. I didn't ask that question.
Well, you know I would
I
never
didn't-
ask my father that. So babe, go ahead, take a
And that was
shot.
somebody in the
Dad.
background.
No, I don't have to take a shot to that. No, fucking no. You
Okay.
can't.
Oh, you can. You answered
I don't mean
that.
take a shot. I mean like you don't have to answer.
No, because some transmit, like,
Can-
you know.
Can I speak on that?
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's not, you know, what folks do in their bedroom is their business, right? Sexuality is fluid.
Yeah.
5 years from now, the folks that said that they would never are doing, right? I just haven't. I'm happily married, been happily married for the last 10 years. And
Who that sound like?
in a committed relationship. But even before that, that wasn't my ministry. But can I still take a shot?
Yes. Well,
Wait,
I
Tabytha don't have nothing to drink.
What's the next
I'm okay.
question?
no, we're
I
gonna take a
definitely
toast
don't-
together. We're gonna take a toast together, but we don't. You can just tap the glass.
Yeah,
So
I'm
you
No,
can
you
take-
can't tap with an empty glass. That's bad luck.
Yeah, I guess I'll go dark for this one.
You said I'm going dog.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right.
They know I get a little violent, but
I
they
don't
gonna
like
make sure I
that's
go
a crazy.
home.
That's a crazy bowl. So I don't want you to tap in that bowl.
No, we good.
Like pay your.
No, the phone is crazy. No,
That's
we
a
have to,
crazy
you know, we get
ball.
crazy at the end. We get the crazy at the end.
We get the-
I follow all the rules. So, have you ever stepped out of your relationship? My current relationship? No. I love my wife. I respect my.
What kind of question is
Who
that?
asked that?
Today we love you, no I
We love you today. These are crazy questions. That's the bowl of.
Oh,
That's the
so
bowl
we
of
already know
danger.
who the culprit was.
I didn't ask that question. No, I did not.
But I'm gonna take a shot. But to answer the question, I love my wife. I respect my wife, and I know the kind of damage that can happen when you cheat. Right? It's hard to come
Shout
back.
outs, mama.
It's hard to come
Answer
back
the
from
question.
cheating. Right? And I also recognize that people cheat for different reasons. But I wouldn't introduce that into my relationship. We're in therapy. We've been in therapy since we got married. Like, we went through church. So for 10 years, we've been in couples counseling. And it's a lifesaver because it helps us communicate. So if I ever felt the need, like I'm not getting something in my relationship, I have the skills to communicate that to my wife.
And that's what's important.
That is so beautiful to start the foundation like that.
From the very beginning.
That is so beautiful.
Yeah, people is not nowadays. They like, oh, nothing against poly or anything like that.
I
or,
said
you
I
know.
tried it. I'm not poly.
No, you was for a while though, right?
Yes.
Wait.
It's not like, but
Wait, what was
listen,
this?
no, she is so.
But you was for a while,
bad. But sex is interchangeable. Like we are always sexually fluid, and I'm sexually fluid. And for a time, you know, I felt like my man would have other wants and desires, right? And it was understanding for me, and I believed at that time that you can't get everything you need from one person.
And
You
I'm not
can't,
against
right?
poly. I don't think nothing's
But
wrong
wait,
with it.
right? You can't basically expect for this person to be your everything. And I subscribe to that, right? But also, again, me and my husband are in therapy.
Well, you're
You
saying
see,
one
so
person can't be your everything?
no, I once subscribed
Oh,
to
you
that.
once
I
thought
once
that.
thought that, which led me to say, okay, let's open it.
That's gonna be a good
Right?
topic.
And you know, like the polygamy doesn't give you the option to be a cheater.
No.
I felt like you had to be your whole self and bring your whole self to me. I would rather you, because I felt like I wasn't complete in myself. You see what I'm saying?
A lot
I
of people
felt
are
like
just open
I
now.
felt like I wasn't capable of giving him my all until I was able to give myself my all. Now that boy can't look at nobody again. But again, like it took me to discover that I was enough for him. And that doesn't mean that, you know what I'm saying, I'm against it. But today, I could laugh and joke with the best of the handsomest people around me, but they will never look like my husband.
Okay.
But that's also why it's important to do your own self work as you're
Yeah.
doing self work with your partner, right? Like we do individual and couples counseling. So it's
Yeah.
about me understanding who I am as a man, so that I am not feeling inadequate or judged or any kind of stigma because I started this journey differently than everybody else.
Yeah, I would.
And y'all
mean,
know
was open
I
to-
tell y'all about therapy. Therapy saved my life.
I mean,
my
because I
life.
started feeling like, because someone told me, like before, a guy told me that if his girl cheated on him, it was like he would want to know, was it continuously, like, did the other person have her mind, or was it just a nut? Like, so I started being like, because for me, when I did date, I was like, oh my God, you had sex with someone else. It would be like, I can't believe, like, I would just make that out to be I don't think I could come back from it when I was dating someone. And then when I matured, I was like, maybe it's just sex. So when I started looking into, like, poly and, like, or open, for myself, and I mean, I say this because I haven't done this, but I would rather a partner, someone that I trust wholeheartedly, no matter what, like, and then the sex would be, like, the minimal. Like, it's like, child, if you want to go ahead and, and do it. I say that. I don't know if I can really do that, but I'm like, if I was in a relationship and I just love somebody so deeply like that, I may be able to be like, they could do that as long as we have that trust and I know that they're coming home and they would never let that person come in between us. So when I was saying that about the poly thing, I wasn't trying to be, judgmental or anything like that.
I know that. Listen, I'm so grateful that I had a man who allowed me to learn what was best for me with love, right? I had the opportunity to love two men. May you rest in peace, Dave. But I lost them, right? And there was a part of me that was awakened to the, reality that we're on borrowed time. And, as I continue to grow older, I renew my love for my husband, because I know that that's the man I'm going to grow old with. So it's like, that's just how he's literally my best friend.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I think
That
that's important.
motivates me.
Yeah, I think that's important too.
Yeah.
To have that kind of relationship.
But,
Okay, one more question.
and then I want to say something
No,
about your ball.
I'm just
leave the ball.
No,
Oh, your ball is
That's
coming.
fine. What are
Pay
we
the
talking
ball.
about?
Well, we can do the question.
Pay the ball.
And then we'll
Not
leave it
pay the
out.
ball.
Pay the
Pay the
ball.
ball.
You heard Asia.
No, I
Pay it.
said
No,
pay
she
the
said
ball.
pay the ball, not pay the ball.
Yeah, pay
No,
the ball.
No.
All right.
If it's one more.
Yeah, do one more.
Oh, we got
you gotta
too deep.
play.
You don't really-
You gotta follow the
questions is
rules.
crazy.
Are we finished?
Oh, we done.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, we're not done. You
I
have one.
follow directions well. So what y'all want me to do?
No, I think the ball is. She did her work. I think it's over for her.
She did her work. She good.
That's a dangerous
You
ball.
feeling bad about the question?
It's a little. No, I asked him. No. I
Wait,
wanted to
hold
make
on, let me
sure.
see.
No,
Next
but
one.
why?
Let's
Why?
see.
Oh no!
Right.
If you had to slap someone a part of the House of Ebony for $1 million, who would it be? Wow.
Yeah.
If you had to slap someone a part of the House of Ebony for $1 million,
We never talked about that.
That was her.
Uncle Mike getting the shit slapped out of him.
Uncle Mike, I love you, Uncle Mike.
Why?
Really?
We love you, Uncle Mike.
Why-
Because that's my girlfriend. And I can slap her and we can recover from it.
Oh, okay. Oh.
So let's talk about your ball. You
Yes,
have
the
the ball next
black
day.
print.
So-
The next day after coldest.
But can we talk about Coldest Winter first? Because
Let's go.
we
Why not?
are. I am doing a $5,000 category
Okay.
for trans men realness and women's face, and I want to see. I did it for a couple of reasons, right? Because trans men and women never get the opportunity to have these big prize categories. My wife did it at the Lanvin Ball for $3,000 women's face, and I wanted to kind of pair it together with women's face and trans men realness. What we're looking for, we being me, it has to be a cohesive look, right? Red carpet, gala, think high fashion. I want to see y'all together. I want to see that look. I want to see a cohesive look. It can't be a cheap look, and it's no shade to anybody, but it can't be a cheap look. You have to look well, like put together. but you also have to like represent each other well, and it goes back to the dynamic that I was speaking about, right? So the woman's face has to be, she's feminine, she's beautiful, she's classy, she's whatever, but the trans masculine person has to like present. His presence has to be felt, like how he protects his queen, how he shows up in the space, like all of those things. So that category I'm incredibly excited about. I may miss it because I got to go to Albany caucus. That's another thing because I'm running. At some point I'm going to run for office, but I got to go to caucus in Albany. So I may miss
heard it here first.
I may miss the ball, but that is what we're looking for. And then the next day, I wanted to partner with Caesar. Caesar's an amazing, shout out to Caesar, Alpha Omega, Ballroom Throwbacks. He's an amazing, amazing partner. He and I just gel. Like we have these discussions that we just had. Caesar and I will have on the phone, and I'd be like, "Bitch, what we gonna do then? Like, how we gonna make it different? Like, what we gonna change?" But I just wanted to partner with him on as far as like acknowledging folks and making sure folks felt seen, because it's incredibly important to make sure that we see each other. So the day after Coldest Winter is going to be an amazing experience. I will be there. I'm hopeful that everybody comes out, like, wear your best, show up on time.
Is it still at the Knockdown Center?
We're going to change the venue. There are going to be some updates. Yeah, there are going to be some updates. I'm asking everybody to just follow it on social so you'll understand what the updates are.
Okay.
There you
I might come
go.
out.
Wow.
Hopefully everybody comes out.
I think
we'll have a nice
right.
time.
You know I'm coming.
Yeah, the Margellas.
Margellas will be in the building.
Oh, they storming. That's what I'm
On
talking
time.
about.
Trust me.
Uh-oh.
We'll be
As long as-
there.
On time.
Wait, along as what? Wait, you was going to say.
long as
So
what?
where are you changing it to? No,
I got Tempress, I'll text you. I'll let you know before anybody else.
It's like, we're not going. Pull back.
Rucka's getting an award at that ball. Shout out to Rucka.
Oh, that's
Yes,
my brother. I fucks
that's
with
right,
Rucker.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Yes. So this has been amazing, this conversation. I'm so glad that you came
Yes.
for us and showed up for us. And I'm
Listen, so I hope you've all been educated. I hope you all have fun and definitely shared some laughs. Continue to send us your questions. But as you send your questions, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that red button on the right side of your screen so you'll get the notifications when we drop our promos, and our official podcast launches every Wednesday at 12 o'clock. Hey, remember, always keep it, I'm going to go first, crazy,
Sexy.
cool. We out.
Let me take these heels off, honey. No,